Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Pig, a thriller from 2021. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to rent on all the major streaming services, so go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot.
Welcome to Screen Riot, the podcast where we review a movie chosen entirely by fate. If you're having difficulties finding movies to watch, then this is the podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and alongside me are co-hosts Eddie, Kyle, and John. And each week, one of us spins the wheel of fate, and the host must pick any movie from that genre. If you'd like to see all the movies that we've reviewed so far and how they've ranked, visit ScreenRiot.net and take a look at the movie ratings page. At the end of each show, we'll spin the wheel and see which movie's going to be on next week so that you can follow along at home. Also, while you're at ScreenRiot.net, make sure you head over to the support page to see all the different ways that you can help support the show. So with that all being said, what is the movie Pig all about?
It's about my pig.
It's about a truffle pig.
Where's my pig?
So a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregonian wilderness must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she is kidnapped.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And that's credits.
Yep, and scene. Cut.
Okay, the movie's a little deeper than that. Still not good, but go ahead.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So the film is 1 hour and 32 minutes long. It is rated R, and it's written and directed by Michael Sarnoski. So this guy, he's directed a few short films.
Was it Sarnoski?
Sarnoski?
Sarnoski,
Yeah. He's directed a couple of short films and some TV shows, nothing of real big note. This is actually his first directorial, or his first feature debut.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Oh, do you do some shorts?
Yeah, he did some shorts and some
Were they
TV
called
stuff.
Piglet?
Oh my
No.
god.
I'm sorry, I'm still in John's thunder. Hold on, I apologize. John, I'm sorry. I shouldn't. I became you for a minute.
They're only
My fault.
funny when I say them.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Nobody laughed. I apologize. I
Exactly.
apologize, sir.
Don't be taking my job. You're the cynical one.
Crickets.
I'll always be the cynical one. Don't worry. Yeah,
Just like the first few minutes of this movie. Crickets.
true.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's go ahead and get into it. First off, I don't think I've seen so many damn production companies on a film attached to a film before.
That's not true. Incident at Ghostland had at least 14.
Yeah.
But whenever this one was going, I was like, I hope Kyle mentions how many production companies are on this because
There's a
lot.
There's a lot. Yep.
It's like 5 minutes of opening titles of just introducing the production companies.
You know, yeah, when the movies first started, I was thinking of just what you guys were saying. I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're going to say, oh my God, just fast forward to the first 5 minutes and you'll be all caught up.
I mean, it doesn't actually bother me to have a lot,
I
but
don't
since
either,
you
yeah.
mentioned it with Incident at Ghostland, I tit for tat. Sir.
Oh, okay,
tit
all
for
right,
tat.
all right.
So you might as well just fast forward the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Then you'll
pretty
be
much.
Caught up.
Yeah.
So we open up and we see a man. His name is Robin. He's played by Nicolas Cage. He's living in the woods and he has a truffle hunting pig,
Yep.
Yes.
which we don't know the name of.
No.
But you said you just found out the name.
Well, the actual
The-
name of
the
the
actual
real
name,
the
yeah,
real
the-
life name.
the
is
actor.
Brandy. Is her name.
is her name.
And, yeah.
Actress.
And she had an
Actress,
understudy named
Yeah.
Cora.
Oh, really?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there were
Pig
two
had an
pigs.
understudy. Yes. Well, no, I think the pig is the same
Oh.
pig throughout the whole movie. But had that pig gotten sick,
Oh, I see.
they would have brought in the stunt pig.
Swine
Cora.
flu.
Stunt pig.
Were they twins or would they had to reshoot the scenes with the pig?
I mean, who knows? They might have just been close enough. I haven't looked at pigs in a long time.
I mean,
but
the-
I assume they kind of all look
The
similar.
pig was what, only in there for 15 minutes? Tops?
Yeah, maybe.
And then the rest of the movie is just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
She got swine flu.
Oh. Too soon.
Oh, jeez.
It's another John joke, by the way.
I guess.
I like this, Kyle. You gotta sneak one in there at some point, and we can
It'll-
totally write him out
Apparently-
of the show
Apparently, I'm getting fired next season. Nobody
happen.
told me.
It'll
next
happen.
season. Anyway, go ahead.
So then, yeah, basically, like Kyle, you were saying, we see some scenes of him and his loving pig
Yeah.
living out there.
Which I actually
Probably,
enjoyed.
this is probably as close to a documentary film about Nicolas Cage I can imagine. It's probably just him in the wilderness.
It's like, I'm
with the
done
pig.
looking for the Declaration of Independence. I'm just in the wilderness now.
That's actually a good point. I enjoyed National Treasure more than I enjoyed this movie. I will say I didn't hate. Okay, because I was so last episode, you guys were selling this as what was it, John Wick?
Is John Wick with a pig?
With a pig.
Well, we did. Well, the trailer doesn't really tell you
Yeah.
too much. It's pretty vague. I mean, it basically just says, "Hey, I had a pig. I lost the pig. Now I want to go find the pig."
But then they interlace some like crazy scenes where you're like, oh, this is actually going to be high speed in a weird way.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Very,
Like a thriller.
very thrilling.
Yes.
Yes.
That's fair enough, right? So the very first few scenes, I was like, okay, not a big deal. They're going in kind of subdued.
Sure.
I kind of like this. I like it all the way up until a certain point that I'll point out here in a few seconds.
It's the calming sensation of truffle hunting.
Yeah, not bad. I'm like, okay, way to start low, then you can raise your expectations.
I mean, the scenes were great. The cinematography was awesome throughout the whole thing.
The whole movie, the cinematography was good.
Yeah.
Even the opening sequences, though, the light, the way they use shadow and
really
stuff,
cool.
I was like, well done.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, it feels a lot like an A24 film.
It
Yes,
does.
it
You know,
does.
I actually
like-
was going to say A24, and then I was like, but no, it said 44. It just says 44 Studios or something like
did it?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
It was a
A24
neon
too.
film.
Neon.
Yeah.
Well, it was that
Well,
too. It was also Lighthouse Ministries Productions. And it was there was Bob's pictures in there. No, I'm kidding. I'm just making up shit now. But
No, but like I was saying, the cinematography is really good in this. That's one of the aspects that I do like. It feels like an A24 film, like Incident in Ghostland was an A24 film.
Yeah.
So it's like really moody lighting, you know, hazy, that kind of stuff. Motivated lighting for sure.
Yeah.
But I will tell when we get a little bit further in, it does not the narrative is not like a A24 film.
No, it's pretty base.
Because a lot of times A24s, they'll have like this really just brutal ramp up of brutality.
Yeah.
Really, you know, of stuff that happens, and this just does not have that.
no,
Right.
this didn't go down that avenue. Had it gone down that avenue, I was prepared for it and would have liked to have seen it. But no, sir, that is not where it went.
So we see a man in a yellow Camaro known as Amir comes up, and he picks up his weekly truffles from Rob, and then he leaves Rob exchange with some supplies, you know,
Right.
like batteries and some food, canned food.
And you know what was
water.
kind of cool though is during that opening scene when he's actually making like a pizza of some sort,
He's
of
making
pie.
a tart.
Is it
He's
tart?
making a mushroom tart, rustic mushroom tart.
Yeah, which it goes through the process, and he's like very, very delicate with the ingredients, and it was just like he's passionately cooking this meal or whatnot. So to have to have him come out or to have the Amir
Amir,
come in,
yeah.
I was thinking, okay, how's he getting all these supplies?
Yeah.
You know, how's he getting all these the dough and all that kind of stuff? There's no wheat fields around here. He's buying something from somewhere else. Where is this stuff coming from?
Yeah.
Fields.
Yeah. He's in the middle of a forest.
Cut to next scene. He's like grinding.
Yeah.
He's grinding out flour.
I'm expecting this guy to farm to table type thing,
He's
right?
milking a cow. He's making butter from
Yeah.
The sequel to this, he just lost his tractor, and he tries to go find.
So then
Where's
when
my
Amir
wheat field tractor?
God.
when then Amir comes up and he gives him the supplies and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is how he stays stocked and stays living because
Yeah.
he does not go into town apparently.
Yeah,
He,
No.
he
and see, I think
sells
that's
truffles and gets stuff.
right. Yeah, and I think that's a good indication of like a good script writer, because they'll have an idea of at what point the audience might be wondering certain things as it's going through, and they will try to answer.
Yeah,
and
it was
not.
and it was right after he got done like eating the meal. Then it was like, here comes Amir or whatever. It was maybe the next day, and with the supplies. I'm saying, okay, perfect. That's how he gets it.
Yeah. So one of the things that that Rob has is a cassette. So he gets some batteries from Amir, and he puts in a cassette. The cassette is labeled for Robin. So
Yes.
it's
Right.
for him. And we hear a woman on the tape basically
starting
to record a song for him, basically. And then that night, Rob is woken up by intruders who knock him out and steal his pig.
Yes. So one thing, by the way, about the tape. So I do find the one deep part of this movie deals with this tape. Okay.
Yeah.
And we don't know that yet, obviously,
Right.
but he can't really listen to it at the beginning of the movie, right? He
Right,
puts
yeah.
it in, and
It's
within
like 5 seconds.
5 seconds, 6 seconds, he pulls it out, stops, and then the pig walks over to
And
check
he's
on him.
visibly distraught kind of
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, he's
Almost
like-
to tears, but
Yes, and,
No.
and the pig walks over to check on him, and he's like, "I'm okay," and then very Sling Blade-ish. He was yeah, he's channeling Sling Blade with that. But yeah, so he can't listen to this tape. Okay, important because at the end of the movie he can. Anyway,
Right.
so yeah, go on.
Well,
So he
spoiler.
gets knocked out. Well, they haven't seen the movie yet.
The tape does explain his whole purpose of coming out to this forest, honestly.
Yes.
To me, anyways.
Yes,
So-
coming out to the forest, yes.
and you start to learn that throughout the movie. But
Yeah.
So, like I said, he gets knocked out. Somebody steals his pig, and this is where I thought that we were going to start seeing John Wick with a pig.
Yeah, because I mean, you would think. I mean, I saw him like they put a lot of emphasis on having his knife be like stabbed into the cutting board or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's gonna use this to like cut somebody up or something like that. This is where the thrilling part's gonna happen, right? So the pig is is, I guess, bagged and dragged out or whatever.
Yep.
It's kind of terrifying, but. Then he grabs the knife. I'm like, ooh, cool. He's gonna stab somebody.
Yeah.
Nah, he gets knocked out.
He gets knocked out.
End of scene. And I'm like, oh, well, that was.
And I did
quick.
I did like the camera work that was happening here. I liked how the camera sort of does like a roll whenever he
Yeah.
ends up on the floor.
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah.
end up on the floor. The camera work in the first like probably 20 minutes is actually pretty good. I like the movie for the first 20 minutes, right? Because after this scene, the next day he gets with Amir after walking to town and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I basically just say that Rob goes into town and he contacts Amir for help, and then through some contacts, they learn that the pig was purchased by a man from Portland.
Yeah, but through some contacts. So the contact that they end up going to me, is one of the best characters in this movie.
Okay.
Mac, the truffle hunting matriarch of the forest, I guess is the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, I guess. This is the kind. It was a woman, right?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah, yeah.
So they go to this.
This is the kind of woman that I want on my side because
Yeah.
you say one word. I want my truffle pig or something like that. Truffle pig. And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, she loses her mind. No, what was great about that scene was they go out there and Amir's like, well, Mac, you should know where who these people are. They were with you, etc. And she's like, what kind of pig? What did they take? And he's like, my pig. And she's like, what kind of pig? And he's like, it's a truffle hunting pig. And she's like, motherfucker. Like, I mean, just loses her mind. I'm like, give her a spinoff. I'll watch that movie in a heartbeat. I'm like, this
that
is
really
great.
did catch me off guard.
Oh, I
because
laughed. I thought it was great.
It's almost like they were having like some sort of black market,
Yes.
like truffle organization
That's
ring
what it
going
felt
on.
like.
But I don't think it was black market. I think it was more that because you ever see the movie Bottle Shock?
Huh.
The movie Bottle Shock's all about Napa Valley and the wine industry in Napa Valley in the 70s,
Right.
which was like pirates. Like they were like wine pirates hanging out in Napa Valley, Everybody had their land and they were trying to make wine. I almost said vino. They were trying to
Vino.
make wine. I know, I'm an ass. Anyway, they were trying to make wine but they were doing it by their own rules and they had their
Okay.
own like established setup. So in this scenario, she's got her plot of land
Sure.
that she's hunting truffles with, and she's got people that come and go. Apparently, a couple of them crackheads, because that's the only way I can describe those two people in the trailer.
Yeah.
Is a couple of
Tweakers.
crackheads, a couple of
Yeah.
tweakers, right? So she's sort of keeping them all in line in a true Mad Max style. And I just enjoyed her character, but she's only on screen for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then she's gone.
I didn't enjoy her character. I didn't
really?
think. Yeah, I thought it was just useless.
Yeah. Oh, see, I preferred her to almost everyone else in this
It
movie. So.
definitely gave the first clue of where he needed to go next.
Well, it was
Yeah.
okay. So compared to some of the other scenes in this movie, it was a legitimate, realistic clue.
Yeah.
True.
So his truffle hunting pig has been stolen. He goes to the truffle hunting matriarch of the forest to find out
Right.
who may have stolen his pig.
Right.
As opposed to then
The
after this,
matriarch
Right.
of the forest.
yeah, after this they go to Seattle, and then Fight Club happens, and we're talking to.
You're getting ahead.
We're talking to Master Blaster all of a sudden.
Here's what kind of bothered me a little bit about, like, okay, so he wakes up and he's all bloodied from the attack the previous night,
Yes.
and he doesn't give a flying flip about what he looks
Wants his
like.
truffle pig.
He's bound and determined to find his pig. He doesn't care what the hell he looks like. And I loved it when Amir pulled up to the gas station or to the restaurant, and he's like covering up his seat because he knows he's all dirty and everything.
Yeah.
He hasn't washed in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Well, he asks him whenever he drops off his supplies. He's like, "Are you sure you don't want me to get you one of those camping
Solar showers, yeah.
solar showers,
Yeah.
be refreshing?" But I just like the fact that they had him put clothes on rather than walk around in his long johns
Oh, right.
the entire time.
Well, he still has long johns on, but just
It's
put
just
clothes all
underneath.
He
over
just
on
put clothes
top of
over.
it,
I mean,
which is
that's what you do with long johns.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's just he looked like a hobo the whole movie.
He did. He
Yeah.
looked like hobo with a shotgun, minus the shotgun.
Yeah.
Hobo with a shotgun.
I mean, honestly, I think I'll get into this a little bit later, but I think Amir is probably my favorite character in this. I think he's the most interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And some of the character traits, like you just said about how how he was trying to save his car
Yeah,
seats. You know?
right.
There's a lot of like fakeness to him.
Oh, of course.
You know,
Yeah.
and like he's having to listen to that book on tape where it's explaining. He's having
Music
to
and all
learn
that,
how
yeah.
classical music is better or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he has to be told to like something.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I
yeah,
agree with you.
yeah.
I think Amir is definitely a very interesting character. I just think in terms of characters I would like to see another movie about, Amir doesn't make that list. Mac, the matriarch of the forest, she makes my list. I'd
That
watch
would
a
be-
movie.
That
with
would be
her.
interesting if that was, you know,
I want to know how she became the matriarch.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
That's what
I
I
want to
was-
see a prequel for her. I want to see where she's going. Like I want to see Mac.
Kingpin of truffles.
Pig 2, Mac. That's what I want to see. Like just that movie.
it's
I'd
going to be
watch
like
that.
like the Netflix show Narcos, but
Yes.
with
Yes,
truffle.
but with
pigs.
truffles. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
what
got
I'm
your
saying.
Kingpin.
Like it's a totally
Damn,
different.
I want that.
That's what I'm saying. A much better movie than what we're watching here. So that's all I could say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
So
to go on with what you're saying, Justin, about Amir and how he's out of place in this business type thing. His fast forward to towards the end where his father's like, he's not cut out for this business and this, that, or the other. I'm just gonna get him out or whatnot. That says it right there because he doesn't he shouldn't be there.
He doesn't.
Right.
Oh, he also doesn't believe in himself either.
Right,
Right.
exactly
Yeah.
because he's obviously
he's
been
insecure.
mentally abused
Yeah.
by his father.
yeah, it's a very strange situation. with
Yeah.
him.
So Rob and Amir, they go to Hotel Portland, which is an underground fighting ring ran by Edgar.
Perfect. So after they leave the forest and they go to Seattle,
Yeah.
from here on the movie makes damn little sense. To
Well,
me.
yeah. At first, they went to some, keep Portland weird food truck rally area thing.
Yep.
And he meets the guy
Right.
Edgar and hands him some food, which I guess was like a gesture of peace, maybe.
I think
Yeah.
it was more than that. It was almost like penance in a weird. Okay,
Because
so
I was kind of pissed off that we didn't actually understand their previous relationship.
and we still technically don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of pisses me off is just because there was hardly any dialogue between them.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, these guys really either like they were good buddies and then they just had a
knows?
big blow up fight
Well,
and
yes,
left. Or
they obviously have a past because
Yeah.
Edgar says you used to be somebody, but now you're no one. Now you're washed up.
yeah.
So here's what's strange to me. So with the rest of the movie, we're assuming he means as a chef.
Right.
Because we
Right.
find out later on Robin actually was a chef, was a famous chef. Okay,
Right.
great. But then Edgar is the one who runs this underground fight club thing
Yeah.
For like restaurant employees.
for restaurant employees, where it doesn't even appear to be a fight club. I want to point that out.
No.
It's
Yeah,
almost
it's not a
like you
fight
actually
club.
pay to beat someone's ass.
Exactly.
And yet somehow he was like well known enough to take a punch. I don't understand.
Yeah, that doesn't
You
make
know
any
what?
sense.
I'm
It makes
almost
this
wondering-
hard left.
Now that you said that,
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe this is for the restaurant employees,
Yeah.
like the kitchen staff, so they can pay money to beat up their boss.
Okay, maybe.
Or like because chefs have this Gordon Ramsay
Yeah,
thing where
yeah,
they're
yeah.
all mean and they yell at you and they berate you and you dirty pig and all that stuff.
Well, the guy that we see that's getting his ass beat out was just a homeless guy.
No, he wasn't a homeless guy.
What looked like a homeless guy.
Well, he was wearing some kind of a coat of somebody who worked in the restaurant. I don't know if he was like maybe a busboy.
Well-
He definitely wasn't a chef. What bugs me about it is because John, I like the idea you're going with there. Had they backed that up, like the next day, whenever they go and meet with the other chef, the one who is a
Oh, and he's like beat up a little bit, or
had
has
he,
a black eye. Or
had
something?
he had a black eye or something?
This guy wasn't wearing a coat.
Oh, you're right. He wasn't.
He
wearing
was
a coat.
some homeless
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
So they were just whipping the ass of some homeless.
Yeah.
guy.
Well, see, that's the thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
It's never
No,
fully.
I agree.
It's
Listen.
never fully explained
Guys,
of
you don't
Yeah.
have to,
what. Okay, Edgar's running fights. Okay, he's running fights.
yeah, you don't have to convince me.
Well,
Trust
not
me,
fights.
I'm thoroughly convinced.
Well, why did every single person know Robin
Yes.
when he put his name up there? Robin
to
Feld.
the point where they were like in awe and
were, "Ooh."
silent? Yeah.
Some of them were scared. Some of them. I mean, I expected one to be crying.
Well, this
I mean,
is where
it
I was
just-
like, oh, perfect. So this is where the John Wick element comes in. He's
exactly.
actually an underground fighter who happened to be a chef, but he's actually
chef by day, badass by night.
I wish that had been the case.
But nobody talks
instead-
about Fight Club, so
No, but instead, and what the hell is Edgar wearing? That was the thing too. Like where you're talking about when he brings him the food, he's sitting in this back room of this very fancy restaurant, but he's like in this back room.
I don't remember what he was wearing.
It's like he's got like a I don't know how to describe it, almost like a sash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's got like a little hat. Like he looks like he's like he looks like he's trying to be Forrest Whitaker in that Last King of Scotland, but like the hobo version.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's a very strange.
That would have been a really good movie.
Strange look, but I'm thoroughly confused, and I've heard through you, but through other people as well, that the other reviews for this movie, they're like, well, of course that fight scene has to be in there. It has to be in there.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
For what reason?
Yeah.
Like, why can't he go and find out this information from anywhere else, any other way?
Or like we were saying, he goes to meet Edgar. He gives him the food offering,
And he could just tell him.
and then they have a little conversation. We can learn a little bit about their past.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Edgar
And
gives him the information there.
Because when he came down there, he's like, oh, this is what's his name? I'm sorry, I keep
Edgar? Rob?
No,
Edgar?
no, Edgar.
Amir?
Yeah, Edgar. This is where Edgar's place is or whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, cool, we're gonna actually hash this out of who these people are, or who he was in the past. Nah,
Nope.
I got a name, and everybody is in awe and pays big time.
The only thing I can think of the reason that this scene is in here is to make the audience feel like it's going to go one way,
Probably,
down the John Wick way,
maybe.
just for it to slow down again
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of veer off in its.
Yeah, because it ends with Edgar stopping the clock and letting
letting it go.
him get beat up even more.
Yeah, see, like, oh yeah, I
So
want
it's
to know
like
more about their past.
there's obviously some sort of personal vendetta going on,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and
like,
none of that actually was said.
Like maybe Robin should have been like the chef by day, and he hung up his Ginsu knives when his wife got killed. He picked up his samurai swords and he went underground and started killing people, and then he's hiding out in the truffle
And we
farms.
could call it Chopped.
Yes.
Ooh, you've been chopped.
Suey.
Okay, so you guys ready for this real fast? So I looked that up real fast to see what the reason is.
You mean the intern looked it up?
Sure. It says they talk about it. So they say these beatings occur in the underground remains of Hotel Portland. The building is real. The Fight Club is presumably fictional, because they're being jackasses in the writing here. The movie doesn't provide any detailed explanations of the club's workings. Blah blah blah. So then it says director Michael Sarnowski's artistic purpose for the Fight Club sequence in Pig feels like it's at least partially one of misdirection. Pig's first act, labeled on screen as Part 1 Wild Mushroom Tart, is presented as such that it appears like the start of a John Wick or Mandy-esque revenge thriller, and the Fight Club scene at the end of the act serves to escalate both the brutality and the absurdity. Okay, great. So there is no fucking purpose for it, and it does not fit in with the rest of the narrative.
You're right, Justin.
Yeah.
It's a misdirection.
It's
That's all it is.
But my problem with it is Mandy-esque, right? They're bringing up Mandy. If you haven't heard of Mandy, it's another Nicolas Cage film that was done, I think 2016, 2017, I believe, and it is completely shit. It is one of the worst movies I've seen in the last 5 years.
I'll have to put that on my list.
Thank you,
Mandy.
Kyle. Of course, yeah.
Can we get
Yeah.
a commission for that?
The
2016.
first- the
Anybody
fir-
hear that out there?
it's-
Mandy. It's actually 2018.
2018. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kyle, for
You're welcome.
correcting me. It's
Yep.
2 hours roughly long. I think it's 2 hours and 14 minutes long or something. The first hour is an acid trip. Like, you just don't know what's happening. There's kaleidoscope of lights, and there's fucking Hellraiser characters. There's all kinds of stuff
Definitely
happening.
looks colorful.
It's awful. It's the worst movie. So if this guy is somehow trying to reference that shit movie, it's not going to help this movie any. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, moving on.
Yes.
Edgar gives Rob a piece of paper. It says Finway's on it. Rob asks Amir, does he know this place? Amir says yes. They have a little. The only reason I want to mention this scene is because I kind of like the scene. Their little discussion or conversation they have at Amir's place.
Yes, over burnt French toast.
Yeah, Amir tries to basically make French toast, but he kind of burns it. Which I like the lighting in this scene because it's burnt. It gives motivation for like the haziness, so they could use like light rays and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. But I believe he tells Rob at this point that his mother has passed away,
Right.
and he
Committed
divulges-
suicide.
Yes, committed suicide. And he divulges the whole thing about how he knows about Rob.
Yeah.
Which was his parents had a meal, their last meal together, and they really enjoyed it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and they talked about it for decades, apparently.
Well, the parents were always fighting, and they would have date night, and they would even come back from date night fighting,
Yeah.
except for this one time
Right.
Yeah.
where they had this most amazing meal. and they were laughing and they were drunk and the wine was great, and for years they talked about this
dinner,
one
yeah.
meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So the two go to the restaurant. It's called Eurydice, and Rob asked us to speak to Chef Finway, which I thought the paper, since it said Finway's, I thought that they meant that was the name of the restaurant.
Well, it
It's
could
Fenway.
be, but it could just be like, it's Fenway's Place.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
whatever the name of the restaurant
Which I didn't
was.
realize that until he said, "Hey, I'd
Yeah.
like to speak to."
I mean, it's definitely not Fenway Pack, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah. So then
And I get knocked
Finway
for my impressions, by the way, my accents. Okay.
Finway recognizes Rob, who tells him someone stole his pig, and then Finway tells him that Amir's father, Darius, who's also in the truffle business, is the one who actually stole the pig.
Yeah.
But the way he got it out of him, I actually, this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
I like the scene too.
Because, I mean, he orders somebody orders this appetizer of some sort, the scallops that was smoked and all that kind of stuff.
Highfalutin,
Yeah.
preposterous.
And so he grabs him with his fingers. It's probably like the improper technique of eating this dish, and it like kind of freaks the waitress or whatever.
I think that was his way of saying that this is foo-foo.
Yeah,
This
it is. It's crap,
ridiculous.
you know. And then he sticks his finger like deep into the other scallop. I'm like, okay, he's Gordon Ramsay in this crap right here.
Yeah.
He's like, this is utter shit. And then when he gets the chef out there, I'm thinking, okay, so he's gonna just say who he is and blah blah blah. And it turns out that that chef used to work for Rob.
Yeah, he used to be a line cook.
Yeah, for 2 months. He was like, I remember everything, type thing. And what's kind of interesting, and it starts to unfold the reason why I guess Robin is the way he is because he was in the same position that this Finway guy is, or was. Mm-hmm. He was pretty much at the top of his game, really good restaurant, hard to get into, making lots of dough, but he's not happy. Because he keeps getting like either bad reviews or whatever. He starts
Because
to
he's
realize,
beholden to people and critics, and
he's starting to realize that nobody really gives a shit about you,
right.
But do what you like doing as your passion, and that's what makes you happy.
Yeah, and
because obviously he's not happy right now.
Yeah.
The Finway guy is not happy.
And he basically just breaks the guy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like I made you from 7 feet tall to about 7 inches tall.
Yeah.
In a matter of seconds. And I loved Amir's face. He was just like, holy crap, what the hell is going on? Yeah. Like, who are you? Yeah. And I think that's the John Wick side of this thing. It's not really shoot 'em up bang bang, but it's more of a mental takedown.
Well,
on things.
It's about loss.
Yeah.
The whole movie's about loss.
Right.
Whether it's people or self-respect or whatever mentality.
And I love, Nick Cage he's like, why don't you have a pub? Why don't you have a pub? Like, that's what you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah, and then he's like, what was going to be your signature dish? Oh, I don't, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember. He goes, what was it? And he's like, starts just saying his signature dish.
Yeah,
like
Scotch eggs.
Yeah, Scotch eggs. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
Do what you are passionate about cooking instead of cooking for these people who have no idea who you are and they don't care about you. Yep. They don't care about anything.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, it's definitely an artistic view of life. It's not it's not a realistic view of life necessarily. But
yeah.
I mean,
just do what you like doing and you'll never work a day in your life.
That's
you can
true.
always F off into the woods and search for truffles.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That's what Nick Cage is doing.
As long as no one steals your pig.
Yeah, I mean, that's technically true, but again, you can live a completely solitary, almost pointless existence without anybody knowing who you are or having any real life to speak of.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's solitude. Maybe that's what Robin loved to do, is just to get out of the limelight, just to be alone.
Well, I just think it's a dreamy, artistic way of looking at real life. Now, could the guy also open up a pub that does Scotch eggs and all that kind of stuff? Yes.
Sure, but he's going to be known for this highfalutin restaurant.
I mean, that's kind of
He's not going to be known for his pub.
If it pays the bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
That's
he
my
could hire
point.
another chef to run that while you run the pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point,
It's a stepping
Gordon.
stone.
At that point, you are Gordon Ramsaying it, and you own 700 restaurants in the world, and some of them people don't even know you own. But you're like, but I really like this. Yeah. And that's my shitty impression, by the way, of Gordon Ramsay.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
It was.
That was like Michael Caine trying to do Gordon Ramsay.
Like this a lot, yeah.
But in all seriousness, I did like this scene. I do agree with you. I did like this scene, but I I don't think it was enough to hold the movie, because there's really only like 3 scenes in the movie that have any weight.
I'm not
right.
saying it holds the movie, but I think it actually starts to turn your head a little bit of going, okay, this is kind of where Robin's coming from, and this is the way he is because of all of this crap or his past. You can start to kind of like puzzle piece things together of you're putting together Robin as a character.
Yeah, you start to get to know him, which is different from most movies, because typically starting out, you know the main character's motivation. You know,
because this is almost halfway through the movie at this point.
It is halfway.
But any I don't know. I don't want to say any good movie, but I mean like Memento. Like you don't know anything about the character in Memento, but I felt
you find out through his events.
I felt like Memento was 294,000 times better than this. Roughly, I mean, I'm ballparking.
Right, you're comparing diamonds versus truffles, so
you're right, and that's kind of a problem because some people are going to find value in both, and the Rotten Tomatoes score for this is unfounded to me.
Yeah,
I can't understand. There are deeper elements here. I do think this scene has weight. I do. I do. But the fight scene thing to me just fucks this whole movie up. And then some of it's just preposterous. You know, some of it's preposterous. I think we're getting ready to jump to the next scene though that I do also think has weight.
Yep. So Rob meets up with Darius and he demands his pig back.
Not this one.
But Darius offers Rob 25 grand to walk away or he'll kill the pig.
Which this guy, I remember him in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, this guy was an awesome dude.
This is Adam Arkin.
Yeah. He's an awesome actor. I really do like this guy a lot.
What was he in Sons of Anarchy?
I think he was a lawyer of some sort.
I remember him as being the shrink in West Wing.
Oh,
yeah, he
that's
was
right.
the shrink in West Wing too.
He also played a big-time chef in Northern Exposure.
Oh,
he was Ethan, Eddie.
Ethan?
Yeah. Ethan Zabel or whatever.
Oh no, he wasn't a lawyer then. He was.
What was he?
He was a white supremacist.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he was.
He was the one with the
tomato.
Yeah, whatever, lawyer.
He's the one that was hooked up with
wears a white coat.
He's the one with Henry Rollins. He's hooked up with Henry Rollins, and they're trying to make this like white supremacist town.
That's right.
And they want to take over half of Southern
California. He was a businessman
who was also a white supremacist.
Yeah, I understand that, but he
So then
that's why I thought he was a lawyer, because I thought he was a businessman, I guess.
I got you though.
Rob confides into Amir that he doesn't really need the pig to find truffles.
Right.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. It's all in the trees and how
Instead,
they move.
he, and I have here in quotes, he uses the trees.
Yes.
Oh, so it's The Happening. It didn't work for M. Night Shyamalan. It's not going to work here either, guys.
You got to look at the trees, because the trees tell you where the truffles are.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't say this earlier. He ate dirt in the beginning.
Yes, he did.
You saw that, right?
Yes, he did.
I did have
He's trying to find if it was close to Truffle Land.
I just want to point out that's also in Waterworld, another shit movie. Go ahead.
I did have a joke in the beginning of my
chits.
notes about that. About this being a documentary on Nicolas Cage's life, and he just eats his favorite delicacy, dirt.
We're going to write this up like pure hydro.
Oh my god.
Comes to 62 chits. Anyway.
But anyway, he just wants his pig back because he loves her.
Yeah.
And then Rob gives Amir a list of items to collect while Rob goes to visit his daughter.
I thought that was his daughter, the one who made the salted
in the
baguettes.
bakery.
Yeah.
Yep, big question mark. No, not sure.
We're not sure.
I'm wanting to think it's a daughter, just because the way they were talking to each other was like, oh, you never thought that I would become a baker or something like that.
Yeah, but she never calls him dad.
Right. She calls him Rob.
Does she?
And the wife's
he's been
name,
gone for 15 years.
The wife's name too, or Lori. Yeah, she even says, oh, Lori, or she says Lori or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's definitely not mom and dad.
It's not his daughter. They're saying it's just some baker that he once knew who was a young baker whenever he was a known chef.
Oh, well then that's not good to me.
No,
because I
does
immediately
come
was
across
going as okay, this must be his daughter, because
it felt very family-like.
It did. That's what I was about to say. The way they were sitting in close proximity and talking, it felt family-like.
Yeah.
So that's why I assumed it was the daughter.
Well, even something that crossed my mind was, okay, this is his wife, and it was actually their child that died.
Oof.
And he jumped off.
Look at John writing a better movie again,
right?
Yep.
But incidentally, not to take away from what we're talking about, but when Justin brought up the pretentiousness of the dish at Fenway's, I actually have the dish the explanation of the dish.
Oh, do you?
I do.
The one that the waitress
Yes.
gives? Oh, okay.
We all have a set of beliefs about the world around us.
Oh my god, I'm already...
Oh.
To challenge
Oh, sorry. What? Oh, sorry.
to challenge them is to acknowledge our foundation is sand.
I'm not
But
hearing
it,
bacon yet.
but it opens us up to something greater, to pure connection, to true life. Today's journey begins with uniting the depths of the sea with the riches of our forests. We've emulsified locally sourced scallops encased in a flash frozen seawater roe blend on a bed of forged huckleberry foam, all bathed in the smoke from a Douglas fir cone.
Well, yeah, that's
God.
what the waitress says.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: that does sound delicious. However, far too pretentious.
Oh man.
I don't deal with that level of pretentiousness ever.
We like
in
to
that
take the
case.
flavors and deconstruct them. And then
What-
Rob turns around and deconstructs him.
What I'd like to do is just I'm
Burn.
gonna actually come to the table and I'm gonna chew the food in front of you and then breathe it in your face, and you'll invite the essence of the food.
There is actually a restaurant like that.
I'm sure there is.
Well, and there's
In
like
Portland,
alcohol.
actually.
There's alcohol bars. There's bars that have like smoke alcohol or whatever.
Yeah.
We have
Sounds like you, I'd
bars
rather
with
drink
air.
one.
We have oxygen bars, for crying out loud. How pretentious of a country are we?
Mel Brooks was onto something with canned air.
Here's some
Yes.
air.
Yep. Okay.
Spaceballs, the air can.
So he leaves his daughter, not daughter. And then Rob and Amir host a cooking show where they make Darius dinner.
I
Yes,
love
essentially.
it. That's great.
I love that scene.
And I was thinking, okay,
It's
how
okay.
the hell are they making this dinner without his dad knowing?
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking,
Did the
okay,
dad let him back in after they had this?
No,
well,
they
they snuck in,
They snuck in the back door.
but
Oh,
at
that's
the
right.
same time, they're cooking in the kitchen in the same house. So, which seemed to me, anyways, like just down the hall.
Unless he has like a maid that cooks him dinner every night, and that's
no,
I guess.
it was just down the hall, and I believe that scene. No, I think it's twofold. I think what that scene is supposed to show is that his dad is that wrapped up in his own business that he doesn't give a shit about what's happening outside of his office ever.
Maybe,
And
yeah.
then second was, I think, the reason why John liked that scene was what, John?
I liked it because it's it's almost like Nicolas Cage is acting like Robin is acting like a father to Amir.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
and I think that's what it's supposed to
and
show.
he's showing. He's like, this is how a
teaching him how
father
to
should
cook.
be. Exactly. Your father should teach you about life, teach you about cooking, teach you about his job and all that to prepare you for the world, not just belittle you.
Because when he made the French toast, he was like, "Oh, no, I don't know how to cook,"
Right.
you know, type thing.
And
So
Robin's like, he after he almost spit out the, almost spit it out. It looked like he was about to vomit.
right,
But he goes, you should use stale bread for French toast.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. So the only problem I have with this is that it simultaneously slams you over the head with these things.
Yeah.
And then somehow is so subtle that unless you are really, really paying attention, you can somehow miss it. I don't understand how they managed to do that. They managed to
yeah,
make
it is a very odd movie on how they portray stuff.
It's called genius filmmaking.
It's not. It's really not. No, it's serious.
This is definitely
No, I
Oscar
totally
worthy.
get it,
Yeah.
I don't understand though. It's very strange. It's like they're simultaneously like that's fairly obvious that what's happening is that they're making dinner and then the realistically on the surface, and I'm making fun of you with this, Kyle, but in all seriousness, on the surface, it's just two guys making dinner while the one guy's dad is down the hallway.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you read into it and you start to think about it, you're like, well, he's serving as a father for the absent father that so doesn't give a shit that he's completely down the hall. He's right there and isn't paying attention, which is really indicative of Amir's childhood and all that kind of stuff. But fuck me, you got to work to get that.
The way
for
I
something
saw
that's
it,
so obvious, you really have to work.
the way I saw it on the surface
Yeah.
was Rob is actually making the meal that he cooked for Amir's parents.
Yeah, which we find out a little bit later.
Yes.
Right. That's what I immediately thought of. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you've obviously sent Amir to get this secret stash of wine, which is amazing because I would have drank it all. It's like, hey, you're going in the woods forever. I'm going to drink this.
You're a drunk.
Well, hey, I like good wines.
I didn't get that during that scene.
I didn't either.
I did not think of that whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, because,
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking, okay, he's back in the house. He's going to actually prove that you do have a soul And once you eat this food, everything's going to come back and you're going to love me again. So give me back my pig.
And part of that was me not realizing where they were. Like I saw, like in the kitchen, I'm like, where the hell are they?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they did a
it's
very
not done
quick.
very well,
They
no.
did a very quick scene of them sneaking in a door, which
But it was
you have
sneaking
to.
in a door. If
Yeah.
we didn't like see Adam Arkin and then see the door,
And,
and
I
then
mean,
put the
and
two
earlier,
together.
Nicolas Cage like visits his old house and has a conversation with a child. And
Oh
it's
god,
like,
that was creepy.
It's like, what in the
I totally
world?
forgot about that scene.
Well, I totally skipped over it because it's
Yeah.
it's moot.
It's a
It
it's
is.
a throwaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
The
throwaway
only
point.
thing I can think of whenever he's talking about the persimmon tree and how when you let the persimmon grow and ripen, it loses its sourness and it loses its tartness and becomes sweet.
right.
That's some metaphor about
Amir.
a life.
That's what I was
and,
thinking.
and,
Oh, I was
and
thinking-
teaching and allowing the flower to bloom type thing.
But talking about Amir.
Yeah, talking about
Yeah.
the son growing up. Everybody they have the rebellious teenager, but then sons grow up and they
Yeah.
start to love their fathers again. And
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, you cut that out, and
Nothing
it's still
changes.
nothing
Right.
changes about the movie.
Oh, no,
It still stands
There's
on its own.
there's a
without it.
solid 30 minutes you could cut out of this movie and nothing changes.
The original cut of this was over 2 hours.
Holy cow!
Wow. I can only imagine what kind of nonsense they added to that. I wonder if the explanation for the Fight Club was in that first
yeah,
2
it might
I
have
hours.
want to see the director's cut. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I don't. But
I'd be down for it.
but no, I mean
I'd
you could
watch
cut out the Fight Club scene. That's 10 minutes right there. Cut that out, right? You could cut out
Well, and that would cut. So
persimmon
that would
tree
cut
stuff.
out the journey too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's
Yeah,
a
the
solid
whole
10
thing,
15
yeah.
minutes. Yeah. I mean, literally you could cut this movie down to a solid 60 65 minutes and have
Probably.
the exact same film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have the same outcome, same story, minus some confusion.
Yeah. So the three sit down to dinner, but as Darius starts to eat, he begins to cry and he leaves the table very abruptly. And that's when we find out that the meal that was cooked was the same one that Rob cooked for Darius and Darius's wife.
Right.
And
yeah.
I really like that scene too because just it mostly stays on Darius.
yeah.
And you can see the realization
Especially when he
his-
smells the wine.
in his face when he smells the wine. He's like, you just see it in his eyes and
Mm-hmm.
in his cheeks, and then he just has that one more bite and he just can't take it anymore and he runs away.
Yep.
Crying.
So now Darius all of a sudden has a heart, I guess, because he tells Rob that by the time that he got the pig from the tweakers,
Yeah.
that she was too injured and she quickly died. And then Rob breaks down and starts
Oh
crying.
yeah. And I liked how they cut the sound,
Yeah, but it was anticlimactic.
but
Because we go from there to the forest, and it's like,
And then done.
Well, they're
Yeah.
gonna go eat pie at that restaurant that doesn't make pie.
yeah.
oh yeah,
I mean,
I forgot
every
about that.
Another throwaway scene.
every diner in a movie makes pie.
True, I forgot about the diner scene. By the way, you're right; it was a throwaway. I agree with you, but it was very. I don't know. I just felt like we went from
Okay, so
quote unquote the climax.
Yeah.
the pig's dead, and he's
now we're at a
very
diner.
upset. So here's actually not even here. Nope, we got to keep going. Sorry, we're not there yet.
Well, I
Keep
was just
going.
going to say that Rob and Amir, they part ways. Rob walks home. Rob puts in the tape again.
Yes.
Oh wait, he washes his face first.
Oh, yeah.
this
finally.
entire time the man is unbathed.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know how they let him into that Eurydice wet restaurant.
I don't either, and he had to stink.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he definitely had to stink.
yeah.
He hadn't bathed in probably like
But
months.
it is Seattle, guys. They're very progressive about the whole
I'm Robin
fine
Feld.
dining thing.
Well, yeah,
oh,
when-
this must be a statement you're making,
Back
Mr.
when-
Feld. Go ahead.
Back when he was walking through that neighborhood of where he used to live. Here I'm thinking, oh well, it's Portland. It's normal.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Christopher Lloyd in Dennis the Menace.
Yes, yes, it
walking,
did.
yeah.
walking through this clean neighborhood, and he's
Yes.
all,
Dennis,
I'm dirty and menacing.
Dennis the Menace just got referenced. Wow, we go deep cuts on this show. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, that's a
Man.
good flick. I like that. Movie.
No, it's not even that. It's kind of funny if you think about the Dennis the Menace, the one that they did in the early
Yeah,
90s. Had Christopher Lloyd, had Matthew, not Matthew, what's his name? Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau.
Walter
Walter
Matthau,
Matthau. I mean, there's actually some really good actors and
Yeah,
actresses in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I said, he puts the tape in, and
Yes.
we get to hear more of what is actually on that cassette.
Which
and
is
it's his wife
Yep.
recording a birthday song that she wrote.
Yep.
Which brings
for
the
him.
whole movie together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then credits.
And then credits.
And
Yeah,
the
it
thing
bookends.
and the thing you have to realize is that he wasn't actually crying about the pig, that he was actually crying about his wife, that he was actually grieving for his wife, that he never grieved for the death of his wife.
Because
that
the pig was a
the pig was a surrogate for his
surrogate.
wife. So, yeah, but Jesus Christ, how do you get there?
Yeah.
How do you get there? You have to watch the credits roll and think to yourself, wait, what?
Yeah.
So the pig can't just be a pig, right?
Yeah, it really
it's gotta
didn't
be
matter.
something else.
Like,
Sometimes a pig is just a pig.
oh
though.
God, it's got to
Yeah.
be something else.
I
though.
think
It can't
Freud
just be a
said that.
pig. It can't just be a pig. This dude was way too onto his pig. It can't just be that. I mean, so you have
bacon.
to
Doesn't
start.
fuck the pig.
no,
No.
he does not. He
No.
said it multiple times. He doesn't fuck big.
I mean,
But
that we
anyway,
assume, right?
okay. So I was kind of thinking that you would mention the camera work outside the diner before we go to the forest.
I haven't even gotten to the camera work yet. There's quite a bit of shaky ass camera work in this that I don't like.
did not. I mean, sometimes I can kind of let go on some camera work.
Yeah.
Are you talking about when they were arguing at each other?
all the
after
time? All the time.
Oh.
They don't know a tripod in this movie.
Well, okay. So most of the movie is on a tripod, but
Yeah.
Shit.
the scenes around the Camaros
Right.
or the Camaro, those are all handheld, and especially, I mean, I understand like with Nick Cage like kicking the door on it, you know, on one scene. I can understand that being handheld.
Yeah,
It
it's
gets a
supposed to
little
be
bit
chaotic.
of action,
Yeah.
chaotic, and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
You
same
could-
thing whenever he's getting hit with the pipe whenever the pig's getting stolen. I was fine
Well,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm
That's
fine with
all.
camera
That's all
movement
fine.
at that
But
point,
at the
yeah.
very, very end, when it actually really threw me out, was they were having somewhat of a calm, subtle conversation.
So this
And-
is the part you're talking about. Just to be clear, is
Yeah.
after they go to the no pie restaurant
Yeah.
and they're talking outside before they part ways.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that scene right there.
And they lost their tripod.
Yes.
And now
I think the B team was
Yep.
already in Seattle or someplace in New York. They were already wrapped up, and they just left this person a camera and like, okay, just film an ending.
They
And-
only had 20 days to make this film, and they didn't have time to go grab the tripod.
listen,
But it's
yeah.
it's a very slow scene, and
It's shaky
you've
as hell.
got it's like did an intern do this? Did
Listen,
a grip do this?
Watch the him walking in to see Edgar. Rewatch that. Shaky as hell for no reason. No reason.
Well,
like,
I understand.
It's still
Well, like
no.
the walking through the tunnel.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they're following Nick Cage and we're supposed to be like almost like passengers walking along with him, I'm perfectly okay with that.
I thought that was. I mean, yeah, we were walking through the tunnel. With
I'm
them.
fine. No, I'm
Okay.
totally fine with that. I'm talking about still shot of him walking into the room where Edgar's sitting. It literally the camera's doing this. I mean, dancing up and down
Oh.
as he walks
didn't-
across the screen. I'm
It
like,
didn't really
why?
throw me out that much. The only scene that it threw me out was the very ending when everything is done, said and done. You know, we know the pig's dead, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna go part ways.
Yeah.
It's like there's no need for the shakiness.
See, it's finally caught up with you because I swear, like in the beginning scene when they're in the forest, totally with you.
Yeah.
It needs to be shaky. We're fine. I'm walking along with Nick Cage to the forest. I'm good with
Yeah.
that, right? But then the scenes where it should be on a tripod and it's not, I was thrown completely out. I was like, wait a minute, you can not use it in the Fight Club scene whenever he's about to get hit. I'm perfectly fine with that. But why is it when he gets up, right? He gets
Yeah.
up, still shot. Right.
Right.
He gets up. He starts to walk away from the camera
Yeah.
towards Edgar,
Right.
and the camera is literally dancing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, nobody's moving.
Yeah,
He's moving
it's-
away from the camera. It should be
That's
still.
interesting because I didn't notice that.
Oh, God, it made me
didn't-
sick.
It didn't throw me
Wait,
off.
yeah, but we go from a very shaky camera work outside the Camaro, and
Yeah.
then he says, "Oh, I'm going to walk
Yeah.
instead."
Yeah.
But then we go back to very cinematic shots,
So I don't know.
and then
because they
you
were
know,
all probably shot at the same time.
probably, and they had the dollies and they had the nice, tripods and everything.
Like shit, we rented them for 12 days. We had them for 13.
But I've actually loved the ending shot of him walking through his property, and we're seeing the camera inside the house, and it rack focuses between Nick Cage outside the window to inside with all of his ingredients and all of his stuff, and then it's basically like a orbiting shot, kind of a internal orbiting shot of his house. But at the same time, they stop at the door and he walks in, and that's when he starts doing the tape thing.
Go ahead, John. I'll say it. Go ahead.
Regarding the shakiness, it didn't take me out of the film, and I kind of chalked it up to he had stability at the beginning of the film,
Yeah.
and then when he leaves his his element, his forest, his beloved truffle land.
With a concussion.
With a concussion, his life became more chaotic.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that the filmmakers were thinking this.
Probably.
But then they wouldn't have had it be shaky at the beginning at all. But we were walking through the forest.
But when we're walking through the forest, it makes sense.
No, it does. But I'm simply
I don't
saying.
think it was. I didn't think it was shaky at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think, and then it even then, whenever him and Amir are parting ways, it's still he's still broken up about the whole thing, and he's still out of his element.
Yeah, it's still unknown territory.
So, but once he goes back into the forest, it's back on sticks, and it's fine again. So that's what I kind of chalked it up to.
It's possible.
Could be.
The shot you're talking about at the end where they're inside the house, I actually like that shot, except it goes on for way too long.
No, I think it's fine.
I don't. It's at least a minute and a half, and I'm like, we get it. He's walking up to the fucking house. Like, it doesn't need to be as long as it is. It just takes forever for him to get into the house.
I don't remember thinking it was long. And
No.
I'd have to watch it again.
I think I was ready for the movie to end.
I actually was enjoying the set decoration at that point.
Yeah, I was like,
just because
he has pickled okra.
You start looking at his ingredients.
That's exactly what I would have if I was a hermit living in truffle land.
What's he gonna
guys
cook
were just
tonight?
hungry. You guys were just hungry, guys. That's all it was. Oh shit! Look what he's got on the shelves.
He's an amazing chef. He needs some really good ingredients.
I actually got up and went and got some pickled okra and came back and ate it while
I thought you were going to say you went and got some pig. I'm like, dude, that's some cold shit, John.
Some bacon.
I went and got some bacon jerky right as he was doing that.
I got some bacon, Nick.
Shout out to Florida Man Jerky, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Bacon jerky is amazing.
It is.
And it's made with bacon.
Yes, it is. That's
Yes.
the bacon jerky is made with bacon, Justin. Yes, that's true.
I just wanted to point that out. It's very good.
He makes two. He makes
bacon
the
jerky, and it's made with bacon. No shit. Like,
It could be faux bacon.
it's not. What's faux bacon?
Hey, it's Captain Obvious. All right, it's okay. Anyway,
I'm trying to bring this to a close so we can get the budget.
Yeah, let's go.
You're good. I just was like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, go ahead. Budget. Way too much.
I actually don't have a budget.
Oh my gosh. 64 production houses that got lost in the mail.
They're all shell companies for money laundering.
I don't actually have a budget for this film, but
that actually makes sense, by the way. There's like a Russian guy who's there who's like, and then he had Fight Club, and they're like, wait, what?
Ernest Borgnine owns all these companies.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's the mafia.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, and
God.
both on Wiki and on IMDb, it does not show the actual budget, but it does show the box office and the gross worldwide. So,
okay, what are those?
The gross worldwide, actually opening weekend in U.S. and Canada, July 18th, 2021, was
$175,000.
No, 970,000.
Okay.
So almost broke $1 million. The gross worldwide was about 3.03 million.
I've got to assume this movie cost more than $3 million to make.
It looks like it, but maybe I don't know though. It seemed pretty low budget.
It seemed low budget. I'm not saying it didn't, but Adam Arkin is a fairly good name, and then on top of that, you got Nick Cage. Yeah. So I mean,
and some of the sets.
Amir, the guy Amir, has been in quite a few movies as well. I mean, he's probably pulling at least $1 million to $5 million paycheck for this movie. So
yeah, because he was the bomber in
the bomber. Oh, in Patriots Day.
Yeah.
Yes, he was one of the bomber brothers in Patriots Day. He was also the boy in Hereditary with Toni Collette,
and he was the young boy in Jumanji.
You're right. In the new one.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, the new one. So yeah, I mean, fairly decent sized actors.
I like
they've
this
got
kid.
three big-ish actors in this, and and Nicolas Cage is Oscar winner Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And he's known for many memes, so he's probably pulling in a big check.
They did it for the art.
No, they might have, but I mean, I'm guessing they pulled down at least $5 million apiece for their time.
They did it for the art.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Nicolas Cage is in pretty much a lot of debt, right? That's why he's done all those shitty movies.
You're not
going to
do it for free. Yeah, you're not going to do it for free.
I mean, he bought Australia, some dinosaur bones.
He bought the land of Australia?
I don't know.
Pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah, he bought the continent of Australia or something.
He tried to slip into Graceland.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
Graceland.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
You know what's in development in pre-production right now for Nicolas Cage? Butcher's Crossing.
No.
Jesus. That'd be funny, actually, if they went at it from a different angle. Again.
And in post-production on the retirement plan.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
this is great.
This is just the start of the trilogy.
I will say though, again, this movie is better than the movie Mandy, in my opinion. But if you haven't seen Mandy yet,
I haven't
watch.
seen Mandy.
no.
Go watch that Nightmare.
It's on my list.
Yeah,
so.
go watch that Nightmare.
Well, so Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give it a 97%.
Wow.
Again, bought and paid for. I don't believe that score.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And the audience gives it an 83%.
Okay.
The folks over at Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars.
Whoa.
4 out of 4.
4 out of 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
So, Kyle, why don't you go ahead and start us off with the Screen Riot scores? Let's show these critics who...
Yeah. What this movie's all about.
What this movie's really about, yeah.
So, yeah, we discussed a lot of good points on this movie. I always like, this is kind of like one of our ending shows of the season. And I really enjoy watching these movies and actually talking about them with you guys. It really kind of opens my eyes on certain things that I didn't see. But with this one, I was actually pleasantly surprised with Nick Cage's acting in this, because Nick Cage is over the top on everything that he's in. But on this one, he hardly speaks. I would say this whole movie probably has less than 20 pages of dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I did read that this is one of the reasons that Nick Cage did this movie was to remind audiences that he has a subtle acting side to him.
Yeah, and I think he
more
actually,
serious
I think he scored big on that type of role. Maybe I like Nick Cage as quiet and subtle and portraying your mood through visuals instead of vocals or speech. But I mean, I liked the way it was shot. There was a lot of scenes that could have been taken out, like Eddie was saying. I think I'm going to give this a 5.3.
Okay, a 5.3 for Kyle. John?
Love the cinematography, love the coloring. I do. I'm really hoping that what I said about the camera movement is true, and that's going to factor into my score. I agree. Nicolas Cage's acting in this was surprising.
Yeah,
it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. All the acting really was good. I mean, the little boy in the scene that can be cut away, he was actually really good too.
Yeah, he was really good.
And I enjoyed. I did not. It wasn't one of these that's like, okay, it's boring, it's slow. When's it going to be over?
Yeah.
Even though it was slow.
Mm-hmm.
The Fight Club can go away.
Yeah.
The persimmon tree speech can go away. I mean, I think you whittle this down to an hour and 10 minutes.
It could be a short.
Honestly, it really could be. But I do enjoy the message.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if people watch this movie and they look at it from what can I get out of a movie instead of just watching the movie on the surface, I think they'll enjoy it. That being said, from a critical eye, I don't know where the critics are getting 97%. To me, it's
Truth.
not there.
No.
To me, it isn't there at all. I'm going to give this a 4.5.
Okay, a 4.5 for John. John, you kind of said what I was going to say, that one of the things I do like about this movie is the underlying message and tone of it. It was kind of refreshing to see a movie lately that is kind of dealing with these ideals, right? Of loss with the mother and the father figure and all that kind of stuff. In a world of nothing but superhero movies right now.
Yeah.
Like, that was refreshing to me. So I did enjoy it on that level. Nicolas Cage was fine. I'm glad that he wanted to do more subdued stuff here. It kind of reminds me of like the golden era of Nicolas Cage, like the early 90s, late 80s kind of stuff. I really thought the cinematography was really excellent in this. They did a great job. I wish I had the guy's name in front of me, but I don't. We didn't really talk about the music at all. Like,
There was hardly any monumentous music.
Yeah.
I don't even know who actually composed it.
Yeah.
I didn't even, because typically, like, if there's a song in there that I'm like, oh, this is really nice, you know, I immediately start looking for the composer.
Right.
Just to see, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is...
Yeah, but you didn't get that feeling to do that,
No.
though. So that's interesting.
Real quick, the music's by Alexis Grapasas
Don't know.
and
Interesting.
Philip Klein,
Okay.
and the director of photography is Patrick Scola.
Oh.
Don't know.
All right.
Yeah, which his name doesn't
Ring a bell.
Doesn't ring a bell, but Pig, Monsters and Men, and then I go Southside with You. I haven't heard any of these.
Interesting. All right.
Well,
He's done 39 cent. He's been a photographer on 39 films. So
Okay. Well, I mean, it was definitely competent for sure.
yeah,
So I think I don't think this has rewatchability for me. I might watch it if somebody wants to watch it, but I think I'd be interested in watching like the 2 hour just to see what was different.
Well,
but
and
that
just
would
to
just
see
be
what
out of
was
curiosity,
cut, because it might have actually propelled the story a little bit better.
Right, just to see, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
But like a one-time watch curiosity thing.
Maybe
Like,
they-
and I might.
Maybe they cut out all the shoot 'em up bang bang, and that's how I actually got bloody instead of getting beat up.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do 4.5 as well.
Okay.
Okay, so real fast, talking about Nicolas Cage in particular, you said late 80s, early 90s a minute ago, Justin. You were like, you know, his golden era in late 80s, early 90s. So here's some late 80s gems for you. So Raising Arizona, not
Right.
bad, right?
That's what I was mainly referring to.
Moonstruck, not
Okay.
good, right? Vampire's Kiss, awful.
Never seen it.
It's shit. Time to Kill, horrible. Wild at Heart, not great. Firebirds, where he's a helicopter pilot, not great. And a bunch of TV movies. Something called Zandali, I've never heard of.
Never heard of it.
Honeymoon in Vegas, that was shit. Amos and Andrew,
Okay.
not good.
So the movies I've seen then.
No, but that's my point, is there's nothing, right? Then you get like a couple of good ones in the mid-90s. It Could Happen to You, Trapped in Paradise, okay, not great, but not bad. Then a whole bunch of shit in the late 90s with The Rock and Con Air and Face Off.
Oh, come on. Those are all great.
Yeah, man.
City of Angels, I did cry.
8mm.
That's where I was going to go. Now, 8mm, he's subdued. He's
Right.
not very Nicolas Cage. And I think 8mm is probably one of his better movies of all time. Now,
I would agree, probably. Yeah.
I also really like Lord of War,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
Lord
he
of War.
plays
But that was like 2005. Okay.
2005. I really like that movie. And after that one, he did The Weatherman, which was another like lost type movie. And that one is actually not, I don't really like it, but it's another movie that's very similar to this one in terms of the tone. So I find it interesting because it's, to me, what he did was he went, you may not like this, but he went Leo DiCaprio with this. It was almost like, so Leo DiCaprio finally won an Oscar after like 30 years of being an actor by barely speaking in a movie, to the point where they cut his throat to make him shut his fucking mouth in the movie. And whoever the guy was the director was probably like, listen, Nick, you want to win, buddy? We can do this, okay? Shut your fucking mouth, okay? Don't say anything. I need you to basically be a Bigfoot, just a Yeti walking through this movie, okay? Every once in a while, grumble and say pig. Sound good? Okay, good. You guys get the cameras? Let's hit roll.
I mean,
Okay.
a lot of people like that type
It's
of dialogue-less movie making,
Well,
because
I know you don't, though. 'Cause you're
I
a
hate
popcorn
it.
moviegoer.
No.
That's what I was gonna say.
I am not
Okay.
a popcorn moviegoer. I do watch good stuff too.
Yeah, you watched Pig.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
exactly. Come on, it's Oscar worthy. But Drive
Yes.
with Ryan Gosling.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, they don't talk.
It's a neo-noir. Yes, it is.
They do not talk at all. In that
So
movie.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, this movie could have been a lot deeper, and instead I don't know. They expect you to get your own shovel and start trying to find the meaning, and it just bothers me. I wish that they had made some things a little more overt, and I wish that they had been a little more subtle on other things. And
Gotcha.
the things that they seem to beat you over the head with, you're like, okay, I got it. They're making dinner, but then you're like, but why does that matter? It's like, what's the reason? And you have to kind of make up your own reason for why it matters. That bugs me. And again, the Fight Club scene, I'm sorry, I was like, what the fuck's happening? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Who's the Mad Max character? I don't understand what the problem, what the reasoning was there. For me, this movie is probably, and I do want to say, I like the coloring, I like the cinematography. etc. But for me, the movie's a 2.5.
So that means that Pig gets a Screen Riot score of 4.2.
Boy.
So this is typically where we spin for next week's show, but since we've done all the genres, we only have our season finale to go.
Yeah.
So that's where we did a little bit differently this year for this season. We put all the genres on the wheel, we spun it, it landed on crime, that's right. And each one of us picked a movie for crime, and then we put it up for the Patreons to decide what to vote for. So everybody voted, and we actually have a two-way tie.
Wow.
Of votes.
Nice.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put both of these movies back on the board and then spin the wheel.
Okay.
And then that's going to be the movie that we review.
Nice.
Sounds good.
So the two movies that tied were Baby Driver and Heat.
All right.
Okay.
So it's going to spin between those two. So John, if you can do the honors.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go. And it's going to be Heat.
Heat.
Kind of hoping it wouldn't be because I don't feel like watching a 3-hour movie. So, okay. So that's what it is. The season finale for Screen Riot for Season 3 is going to be Heat. And that's what we're going to be reviewing next Saturday.
Nice.
So I want to say thank you to all of our patrons that came out and participated in the vote. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think I like that better than what we've done in the past. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like the input.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what we'll continue to do until we get a better idea done. So with that, thanks for listening to the show, and we'll see you next week where we review Heat.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Later.